Yeah, Andrew. There's a lot of buzz around them too. But honestly, it can feel pretty silly at first to be telling yourself things like, I am confident or I am worthy.
I know, right? It's kind of weird, but I've been trying to do it more and more because apparently they're supposed to boost your self-esteem.
Exactly. And that's the thing, a lot of people just jump on the bandwagon without really understanding what affirmations are or how they work. They're basically positive statements you repeat to yourself to change your mindset or behavior.
Got it. So, if I'm doing them right, should I be saying things like I am rich even though that's not true for me now?
That's a good question. It's important to keep the affirmations realistic and grounded in your current reality. You could say something like, I am improving my financial situation, which is more about progress than instant change.
Makes sense. I've also heard they can be effective when you're feeling down or stuck, but does science back this up?
Research has shown that affirmations can help with things like self-esteem and depression in the short term. It's not a magic solution, but it can definitely be a helpful tool in your mental health toolkit.
So, they're not going to turn you into Wonder Woman overnight, huh?
Not exactly, but they might give you that little boost of confidence you need when you're feeling like giving up. And who doesn't want a little more confidence now and then?
True. I guess the key is consistency, right? You have to keep at it.
Absolutely. Consistency is key. It's like going to the gym. Affirmations are just as effective if you do them regularly.
And what about the negative self-talk? Should we be addressing that too?
Yes, absolutely. Addressing negative thoughts and replacing them with positive ones can really make a difference. For example, instead of saying, I always mess things up, you might say, I learn from my mistakes.
That's a great point. I think I've been doing this without even knowing it sometimes.
Exactly. And that's one of the cool things about affirmations. Once you start paying attention, you can spot negative self-talk and challenge it.
So, would you say they're worth trying out?
Definitely give them a try. They might not be a magic solution, but there's no harm in giving them a chance to see if they work for you.
All right, I'll start small and see how it goes. Thanks for the insights, Ava.
You're welcome. And remember, consistency is key. Good luck with your affirmations journey.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today we're tackling something that's been getting a lot of buzz lately, affirmations. Honestly, I've been trying them myself, and I'm a little skeptical. Do they actually work, or is it just a trendy self-help thing?
Hey Andrew, great to be here. And you're not alone in feeling a little skeptical. I definitely had the same initial doubts. I mean, saying I am successful feels, well, a bit hollow sometimes. But I've actually found them to be surprisingly effective, albeit with some caveats. It's about how you approach it.
Okay, so it's not just about blindly repeating phrases. That makes sense. What's the key then? Because I've just been saying I am confident every morning, and I still feel like a massive imposter.
Exactly. It's not about magically changing your reality with a statement. The science behind it, and there is some, suggests that affirmations actually rewire your brain. Repetition, especially when paired with a genuine feeling, starts to build new neural pathways.
Neural pathways? Okay, that's actually pretty cool. So, it's like training your brain like a muscle. But what kind of feelings are we talking about? Because saying I am worthy doesn't really feel particularly good, does it?
That's the crucial part. You need to connect it to an emotion. Instead of I am worthy, try something like, I am proud of myself for taking that step today, or I acknowledge my value and strength. It's about anchoring the affirmation with a positive experience.
I see. So, it's not just a positive declaration, but a conscious acknowledgement of a positive action or feeling. That's a much more grounded approach. But does it work for things that are genuinely difficult, like battling anxiety?
Absolutely. For anxiety, affirmations become about accepting your feelings rather than fighting them. I accept this anxiety, and I know I can handle it, or I am safe and calm in this moment. It's about shifting your perspective, even if the feeling itself doesn't disappear instantly.
That's a really helpful shift in thinking. So, it's about reframing the negative feeling rather than trying to eliminate it. I've heard people recommend writing down their affirmations. Is that effective?
Writing them down definitely amplifies the effect. The act of writing forces you to be more intentional about it, and it solidifies the affirmation in your mind. Plus, you can review them throughout the day. It's almost like a little daily dose of self-affirmation.
Makes perfect sense. So, let's say I'm struggling with self-doubt. What would a good affirmation be in that situation? Something beyond just I am confident.
Okay, a good one would be, I trust my intuition and believe in my ability to overcome challenges. Or, I acknowledge my insecurities, but I choose to focus on my strengths. It's about combining self-acceptance with a belief in your capabilities.
That's brilliant. It's not just a blanket statement. It's acknowledging the doubt and then actively choosing a different perspective. It's far more powerful than just I am confident. I'm starting to see the value in this.
Exactly. And remember, consistency is key. Even just 5 to 10 minutes a day can make a difference. It's about building a habit and reinforcing those positive beliefs. Also, don't be afraid to tweak your affirmations as you grow.
That's a really good point. They shouldn't be set in stone. So, to recap, affirmations aren't about magically changing your circumstances, but about actively reshaping your mindset through consistent, emotionally connected statements.
Precisely. And it's important to remember that affirmations are just one tool in the self-improvement toolbox. Combine them with other practices like gratitude journaling or mindfulness meditation for even greater results.
This has been incredibly insightful, Ava. I'm definitely going to give this a serious shot now. It's shifted my perspective on affirmations from a frivolous trend to a potentially powerful tool. Thanks so much for sharing your knowledge.
You're very welcome, Andrew. It's been a pleasure talking about this. And to our listeners, experiment with affirmations, find what resonates with you, and build a positive self-talk routine. Until next time.
So, Ava, I've been thinking a lot about affirmations lately. Do you think they actually work?
That's a great topic. I used to believe that affirmations were just some new age magic trick, but the more I learn about them, the more I think they can be really powerful.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But it seems like everyone has their own different methods and approaches to using affirmations. What's your take on that?
Well, I think it all comes down to mindset. If you're not already open to the idea of positive change, then no amount of affirming can fix it.
That makes sense. But what about people who do claim that affirmations help them overcome certain challenges? Do those stories sound convincing?
Absolutely. Those are some amazing success stories. And I think it's worth noting that affirmations aren't a magic bullet. They work best when combined with hard work and dedication.
That's true. I've seen people who have been using affirmations for years, but still struggle to make progress in their lives. What do you think is missing?
For me, it's all about consistency and repetition. You can't just say a few affirmations once and expect them to stick. You need to repeat them regularly with feeling.
I've tried that, and it feels like I'm just repeating the same phrases over and over without really making any progress. What would you suggest?
Have you tried rewriting your affirmations in different ways? Sometimes we get stuck on a phrase because it's too generic or vague. Try making them more specific and personal.
That makes sense. I never thought of that. And what about negative affirmations? Do those work too?
Yeah, they can be really helpful for releasing negative patterns and mindset. It's all about flipping the script, you know? Instead of focusing on what's holding you back, focus on what you want to build.
I like that approach. But don't you think there's a risk of getting stuck in self-pity or negativity?
Not if you're doing it right. Negative affirmations are all about acknowledging the issue and then reframing it in a more positive light. It's not about wallowing in sadness. It's about taking control.
I see what you mean. And finally, do you think affirmations are something that can be used for everyone, regardless of their circumstances?
Honestly, I don't think so. Affirmations work best when they're tailored to an individual's specific needs and goals. What works for one person might not work for another.
That makes sense. Thanks for sharing your insights. Ava, it's been really helpful.
No problem. It's always great to chat with you about this stuff.